Welcome back, growers. It is Wednesday, July 16th, and we are here to learn as you grow. Your garden is more than a place to grow food, it's a canvas for creativity. It's a place to express who you are. We are learning about garden decor together. I'm just wondering, can you hear me? Because we've had a lot of sound problems with my browser and StreamYard. So no one said they can't hear me. I'm going to say it's working. Whether it's a rusty treasure turned art piece, a splash of color that makes you smile, or a cozy corner that feels like home, tonight we're diving into garden decor that tells your story and transforms your space without breaking the bank. I'll show lots of inspirational images and a short video. Thank you, Bowtie. Sound is great. Replay watchers, what's one piece of garden decor you absolutely love, or a do-it-yourself project you've been dreaming of trying, or you already did? I want to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. I do read every single one. Our bonus at the end of the show is going to be the balanced garden decor checklist. It's a summary of everything we're going to talk about. So what are we covering? Why garden decor matters, do-it-yourself garden decor ideas, functional decor that works hard and looks good, upcycled and sustainable decor, style and theme inspiration. We're going to hit on color theory, making it pop or blend in, as well as height and layering, focal points and flow, style, harmony, personal expression. And we're going to talk about why is the angel always in the garden? Heading into the chat. I know Bowtie, Life in the Garden is here talking about the poll that we have going. Missing kinetic art on the survey. Wind-driven kinetic art. I do have only 4 options I can squeeze in there, and I would love to have you put in the chat what I'm missing. We do have all of the above is always an option. We can just say it in the chat. Thank you. I wanted to point out, I have the link somewhere here. On the Growing Generations podcast, it's Emmanuel's channel. Our friend Bowtie Life in the Garden was featured. You can check out the replay at that link. I can put it in the description for everybody in the replay. And I also wanted to point out that we have Mushroom Mark here. And guess what, everyone? Mushroom Mark put up his first video in the short category, and it shows off his van. I will put a link to that in the description as well. Dave Knight, I see a light from the Great Lakes. It looks like it is in Minnesota. Oh, Miss Sharon, good to see you here for this conversation. We're talking about decor. Make sure you're on live chat or all messages, depending on what it says. You had a great time being interviewed and you saw the van mobile tech. Welcome to the conversation. We're going to get started into the information about garden decor. So why does garden decor matter? It invites joy and calm. It encourages pollinators and birds, turns your space into a sanctuary. Decor can reflect your personality, your values, your heritage. It can be so many things. Do it yourself garden decor. Some of those ideas could be painted rocks or bricks, upcycled containers, teapots or furniture. Oh, that almost fell. Homemade wind chimes, stepping stones, or even just trellises can be considered a decor item. This is a painted butterfly. My mother gave the butterfly to, it's like whatever this is made out of, to my oldest son, and then my other 2 kids had other ones given to them. And he painted this with her around. This was one of the last kind of activities they did together. I haven't clear coated it, like sealed it. That's why it's still in the house. Otherwise, it could be out in the garden. But this is an example of something you could do. We do have painted rocks in the memorial garden, as well as fancy Etsy shop rocks that have sayings on them. Functional decor that works hard and looks good. Decorative raised beds or edging. Edging is something that I have no experience in. There is no good edging at my house, in my gardens, at the offsite garden or here. I don't get it. Artistic trellises or obelisks. We see those in Robin Garden's tours of her um, something about a seed library in something county in Wisconsin. I don't have it memorized, but that's a really cool channel. She uses that word. Garden lighting like solar or string lights or lanterns, rain chains, which we're going to look at a picture of, cymbals. I've seen people take old cymbals from the drums and put them so the rain can hit them. Bird baths, insect hotels, upcycled and sustainable decor, pallets, jars, old tools. I've seen tools hung on the fence line or on a shed. Tires can be considered a decor to some people. Cans, windows, or gates, of course, tell a story to share what you've reused or saved. Style and theme inspiration. Now you can mix and match these, but some examples are cottage core, boho, zen, modern minimalist, rustic, whimsical. I don't know where I fall into any of these. Before we go into color, let's go back in the chat, and I'm sure we have wonderful comments going on today. Dave Knight, I have an old El Camino body. You just might be a redneck if you plant flowers in the box. How about a Buddha or gnome, says Bowtie. I could see that as garden decor for sure. Oh, I forgot to turn my mushroom on, you guys. There is a gnome, I believe. Let's see if we can get that on. Oh. I have to do this carefully. Okay. We do have a rock down here. It was a full mounded circle, but of course my children decided to touch my rock when they were instructed not to. But yeah, putting cool rocks in the garden is something I like to do. Walks that are special, right? Mobile Tech says solar lighting is fun. Oh, Bowtie says I tried edging with brick. I have pallets of it. I have not figured them out yet. Mushroom Mark says, Dave Knight, I want to do something like that someday. We have used a hood of a S10 and chalkboard painted it to write stuff on it. The next chapter in the fan's life. Never. That was funny. Bow tie. Dave Knight. You. Speaking of cool vehicles and such, I suppose I better show this now. Somebody's not happy with me. Okay, this thing can go in your garden. Call out what it is if you know. I might have to go help her. What is this called? Cast aluminum? It's very heavy. Oh. Don't touch mom's rock, that's right. So we've talked in the past about me just showing like an old video of mine during those kinds of things that just happened. Did I have one queued up? Clearly I did not. It was a little bit of an emergency. Yes, I had a situation. Yes, it's Rat Fink. Good old Rat Fink, that's right. Adam is stopping in to say hi. Hang out as long as you can. Bowtie has Marvin the Martian. Oh, I love that. Can't bring myself to put it out in the garden. Yeah, this stays in the house, so it stays good, I guess. Dave loves the hot rod shows. I'm waiting to see if I need to go help someone again. Okay. Sounds like we're good. How color can guide mood, movement, and harmony. Complementary colors. There's different buttons. There they are. Share. Okay, so we all have learned about this thing called the color wheel, right? Complementary colors go by each other. So an example of that, share this tab. Okay, see those flowers? Purple, yellow, red and green, blue and orange create bold contrasts that stand out. And now analogous, I don't know how to say that word, colors next to each other on the wheel. That's what I was trying to say. Remember the wheel I just showed? I meant it for this conversation. Colors that are next to each other on the wheel create a calm, cohesive feel. Blues, purples, and pinks use warm colors. Reds, oranges, and yellows to draw attention or energize a space. This is an example of complex, so that's including two analogous colors plus a complementary color. So using cool colors, the blues, purples, greens, to create a soothing, relaxing vibe. Tip, match decor color to plant palettes to use as a highlight, like painting a chair or adding a colorful mosaic. We can also add things like tall elements, trellises, arbors, garden obliques, wind chimes, pulling the eye upward, mid-height items like bird baths, large pots, small statues add structure and balance. So look for these types of things when we go through our photo gallery tour. All the things I'm talking about. Mark, if you're still here, can you come downstairs, please? Attention, calling Mark. Low items like ground level stones, fairy houses, creeping plants give grounding and charm. Design tip, use the thriller, filler, spiller idea from container gardening to apply to decor grouping. So I don't know if you guys have heard that saying before, but in a container, a thriller, something tall and spiky, a filler to fill in this level for your eye, and then the spiller goes over the edges of the pot. Focal points and flow guide the viewer's eye. Create a visual destination like a painted bench, fountain, or sculpture at the end of a path. Repeat certain materials or colors to lead the eye naturally. Style, harmony, and personal expression. Rustic wood pairs well with cottage gardens. Bright colors and mosaics fit eclectic or whimsical styles. Clean lines and stone suit minimalist or Zen-inspired spaces. Remember we were talking about like different categories of themes for the space? I don't know where I fall into any of those, by the way. Pro tip, pick 2 to 3 style words and stick with them for your decor. Picking a theme and sticking to it is not my flavor in life at all. Natural, cozy, playful, so your garden feels intentional. I can't do that, okay? I can't. We have some images to go through, and I am going to go to the live chat before we pull up those images. And I think we have some new folks in the chat. Here we go. Jay Dixon, greetings. Okay, Bowtie says complimentary colors. Good day, red. Greetings, yellow. Top of the morning, blue. You look ravishing. Yes. Teamwork, right, everyone? If Dave says Mark clean up on aisle 4. Well, I did the cleanup part. I beat him to it. I'm a minimalist, says Bowtie Life in the Garden. I think your plants can be your decor, right? You said you're a container guy. You could get snazzy with your containers, Bowtie. Okay, we're gonna get into some garden tour stuff. Look at that. So we're gonna go over some kind of elements thing. So I'm gonna flip through these and talk, all right? You've been here before, you know the drill. What do we like about this one? What do we see? Let me get to my notes here. Um, every garden showcases individual expression and personal style. Very artistic. There's apparently 8 basic design principles to guide your design. Look at the colors in this one. Can you see that? Bowtie says, I have a ton of pots I've been hiding. Citronella, mint, and rosemary everywhere. Yes, the curves were very appetizing in that first one, I believe. I also think that same thing. Adam says, I have an 8-foot tree trunk in my front yard. The tree was dying. I'm hoping to get it carved into a sculpture or a gnome high rise. Big dreams, Adam. I like it. Getting started. Garden design begins with envisioning goals, style, and function to shape a cohesive landscape. Do we have to pick a theme? I mean, come on. Think about proportion to harmonize the elements in the landscape. So keep in mind what we talked about with color theory, right? Bowtie says gnome high rise. That sounds awesome. Ooh, water. Water is definitely something that you can use in decor land. Highlight the entrance. Enhance entrances with distinct features to guide visitors while harmonizing the home with its surroundings. All right. Oh, here's water. What does it say about that? Sculptures, fountains, and unique plants create order and scale. Having a water feature opens up a whole nother category of plants you can have as well. Nice entrance evergreen, says Bowtie. Repeat plant groupings. This is something I should have done. Using repetition in landscape design creates cohesion throughout elements like color or structures. I wish I would have grouped plants together in certain gardens, but I split them up to have like a mirror effect. So now, I mean, I guess I could go back and either learn how to propagate it or buy new sets of everything, which gets expensive fast. Bowtie is still trying to figure out a wet area for his garden. Add variety, strive for simplicity. Landscape design needs replication for cohesion and variety for interest. So that's an interesting bridge structure, as well as the design for the pathway that they laid. They definitely have similar things growing together. Different things to catch your eye, right? Isn't that bridge cool? Create a sense of enclosure. Oh, are they going to talk about borders again? Enclose a garden design with varied materials, elements, and boundaries to create distinct spaces. Again, I do not have border game whatsoever. Yeah, that whole pathscape just pulls you in. Dave says, I had a water feature in the garden during a thunderstorm today. Did you have some sitting water going on? Thank you, Miss Sharon. We do have a website, shawneegrows.com. Check it out. I don't even know what's going on in this picture. Okay, so it says use strong lines. Garden lines offer both visual and physical framework for landscapes. Well, how does that not get messed up? Zen Garden. Mobius, hey, I'm glad you found the Decor Live and you have time to join us. Garden lines are made with paths, bed edges, walls, patios, pond edges, basically any feature with a linear aspect that creates an edge between two materials. Lines determine how we move through the landscape both visually and physically. Dave filled all the water storage today. That is a nice thing to have. Those lines are not strong, they're planetary. I think we have one more. What does this one have going on for it? Color. Add impact with color. Garden hues unify landscapes, setting the mood with palettes and thematic aesthetic choices. Talking about different moods, right? Uh, we did talk about, let's see here. Stop. Mobius, we talked about color theory. So you might want to watch the replay for that part. Mobius says, my garden decor news is about decks. Bowtie says, someone spilled flowers all over the place. Mobius says, I had a very good day. Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, it is good to see you. Perfect timing. Yeah. Oh, mobile tech. I'm looking for a bird bath right now. There is a lot of ways you can go with that. Yeah, we did examples and types of color, and that's why I have this shirt on. Okay, so going into the next thing. What was it? Where are we going next? Just a reminder, if you like what you're learning, tap the like button. Don't miss a grow, subscribe. Know a gardener who'd love this? Please share the stream. There is a poll for those of you in the live chat. Don't forget, I will put, when it's closed, I will put the results in the screen. So those of you in the replay can see it since you cannot participate in it. Unless you write your answer in the comment section. Where should we go next? Should we talk about the angel in the garden or should we look at more decor garden items? Chat, tell me angel or photos or something. Where do you want me to talk about next? Mother Earth Garden Club, welcome to the decor show. Bowtie says, in designing websites for 2 decades, I did a lot of color theory study. Oh, I imagine. Remember to hit the thumbs up, says Miss Sharon. The 2 bird baths that Jay had were freebies, not using due to the H5N1. Okay, safety first. Mobius says, deck crew came today. All the bad boards were replaced. 900 square foot decking, guys. I know, right? And I now can begin staining. Very excited. You are going to stain it yourself. If you want to talk about what you're going with, you can share, company color, brand, whatever. That is very exciting that you're willing to do all that work. Decks are love. And you curated the color. Okay, you already answered. Perfect. You have angels in your garden. Don't blink. Okay, angels. I got to vote for angels. Mobile tech. I made a pond once that had an angel peeing into it. Love that. Big Will. I don't know what that was, but no one's crying. It was a very loud boom. Big Will Dog 82 in the soil. Hey, 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 I might be late, but he's here. Your boy is here is what it says. I think what happened is there's a window open, and I think the change in wind made a door slam is what I just heard. Mother Earth says, I have an angel in my garden, has a broken wing since a bad storm. The decks are critical to get them lovely solid color stains so I can put my wonderful furniture out again and have a summer. No, I don't, that was a reference to something. The best deck stain promise. Okay. Blue deck, says Jay. It's all about angels. Okay. Adam says, now that the kids are over 18 and one has moved out, my wife has given me permission to do what I want with the property. 1 acre. Goodbye, lawns. Hello to building my utopia garden over the next few years. Oh, that is amazing. Bear, I don't know if you say it like bear. Waterproofing, solid stain, and sealer. This is the one that lasts 2 coats. Bowtie was talking to Big Will Dog about pallets for the compost, and there was an interview today that it was talked about on. And you're sanding it with the 80 grit? Okay. I wondered how you were preparing it. Okay. We're talking about angels, it sounds like. Why is the angel always in the garden? Because the garden is where peace lives. It's where life begins again after hardship. It's where we return to the earth with our hands and find healing. The angel watches over the growth, the stillness, and the quiet prayers we whisper while planting the seeds. She's there not just as decor, but as a reminder that hope, love, and beauty are always rooted. Why do you have an angel in your garden? Do you want an angel in your garden? Maybe you have frog statues in your garden, you know? Tell me. We're going to look at pictures. Pressure washing is a great way to clean the surface. Doing it right for once. Find healing. Nice. Well, are all angels debatable? Mobile tech? I don't have a hard and fast rule. I don't have an angel in my garden. Bow tie. Yeah, it's that things are happening, Mobius. Things are happening. Lighting. Yes, we talked about different forms of lighting. Let's see if we have any lighting features in our tours coming up here. So let's see. Where does it start? Let's start there. There are links in the description that show more than what I'm showing for as far as pro tips, hints, steps, images, all the things. So for this garden decor picture, we're talking about plant tags. You can use plant tags as decor. Okay, Mother Earth Garden Club, I have angels in my garden, in my living room, and all over my Christmas tree. Mobius says, I have a lovely angel from a dear departed friend. DCBs, hey! Welcome to the show. I have angels all around me. The Lord sent them to watch over and minister to me. Jay says, I inherited 2 angels in my garden, and I found a matching large one in a metal recycling. Freebies. It's good to see you, DCBs. Those are cute. Mobius has copper plant tags. Bowtie says, I love my garden cafe lights. They come on at sunset and turn off at 9:24 p.m. about the time I go to bed unless some vixen is keeping me up all night. Do we get to watch videos in the garden? Do you take your computer out there? Ooh, a TARDIS hive? That is BA. Like that. Okay, where am I at? This one. Check it out. Like we were talking about. Hi, Gandalf. We're talking about garden decor. And if you have an angel or not in your garden, and ways to talk about where to start with decor in your garden. It can kind of be anything and everything, right? Mobius says, gotta love those solar lights that come on at sunset. So many to choose from now. I don't have any. Oh, that's a fairy? Sorry, everybody. It's a fairy. Thank you for the correction. Yeah. If Mark is still here, Gandalf says thanks for the van tour. I'll put a link in the description for the van tour. Mark's first video. Yeah, the newer solar lights are pretty cool. Let's go to this one. We have a ladder. You can use a ladder as decor. They painted it. See the colors they chose for the cans and the ladder? How do we feel about that? Color theory people. We have yellow, red, purple, blue. It's wired. The garden is wired for lighting at bow ties. Here is an interesting bird bath. Just repurpose everything, says Mobius. DCB says bees would like that garden. Adam says, I love the look of lights in gardens. I'm hesitant to use in mine due to the effects on the wildlife and plants. I don't have a reason to put lights in mine because I'm not there at night. So I'm seeing pictures of birds and then little statues of birds on this bird bath. It's pretty adorable. The urban gardener. I have a ladder as decor. Not as nice, though. Maybe you can spiff it up. Here's some more lighting. What do we think of those? Those are your traditional, mark a pathway kind of things. DCB says, oh, good to see you, by the way, the urban gardener. I don't think I said hey. DCB says, I haven't ran power to my garden yet. Bowtie says, I had a red ladder for a while. It lasted 2 years. The neighbor's kids used to use it to climb into my garden and pick berries and hot peppers. Interesting. Too tall, says DCBs. I have a thing with lights not being the right light. Shade? How do you say that? The light tone? It's just not right. Here is a beautiful gate. What do we think of this gate? Does anybody have a spiffy gate? I don't have any kind of fencing or gates to use as decor in my garden. Mobius says, great thing is you don't need to run power for lights because solar is so fab. Yeah, as long as you have access to solar, why not? Thank you for the great subject, Shawnee, says the urban gardener. Warm tones we definitely saw. Adam says, I'm not either, Shawnee, but I'm in the morning before the sun is up. I'm not there when that's happening either. Purple is very bold, Mobius says. Yeah, what is the color purple means? Kind of like royalty. I think it's a good contrast with the green, right? Everything's green in the garden. Mother Earth Garden Club, I would love to have a backyard light that I could turn on and off. Well, that sounds like future goals. How about this? Who wants one of these? I kind of want a sundial. Wouldn't that be cool? I also want a weather vane, the thing with for the wind. DCBs, I don't like dragonflies. They eat my queen bees. I understand that, definitely. Jay says blue tone light equals cool, yellow tone light warm. Dave, I can put LED light strips on the El Camino when I turn it into a flower bed. Hey, we're getting ideas here. Now, if it was copper, you would like it, okay? Says DCBs. Oh, a sundial. Yeah, I know, right? Bowtie says purple is royalty. That really stands out. Mrs. Bowtie wants purple and yellow in the garden. I have worked for years to get there. Just planted a lot of yellow canna lilies last week. Ooh, don't have a sundial. Maybe it would be nice, says Mobius. Oh, now the urban gardener. I want a sundial. Cool. I do too. Yeah. I don't know what style I would want. Maybe one with rocks. Like one we made with rocks or something. Once I learn how to make one the right way. I'm sure there's a YouTube video for that. Bird blasts are central to decor, says Mobius. Jay says I was hiking and made my own sundial to confirm the time. Look at you. 3 little windmills. Windmills are definitely cool for the garden. This is, I think, in the category of wind chimes. I don't have the article pulled up. I'm just kind of winging it right now. The article is in the description, though, if you want to tool through, like, the writing that's under each image kind of a situation. Bowtie says, I have a little turtle sculpture with a sundial on its back. Turtles are my favorite animal, if you can say that. Robin Gardens, we were talking about you earlier. Hello, missed that you were going live tonight. Oh, well, thanks for coming in. You'll have to catch the replay for the beginning half of the show, because of course all things are important here. And it's good to see you. Right now we're doing the images section. DCB says, I'll kind of use the trees down at my bee yard as a sundial. Kind of. Must have wind chimes. Mobile Tech says, no chimes for me. I like quiet. DCBs I can get within about a half hour. Bowtie wants wind chimes, but Mrs. Bowtie can't stand them. I feel like if you find the right tone, because most wind chimes are a little high-pitched tinny. You can have deep ones too. Mobius says, and a new one to me is a rain drum. Have you seen the cymbals? Rain cymbals or rain chain, I think is what we're going to look at eventually here. This is a shed. You can dress up and doll up your shed. Or an old wheelbarrow, of course. Mother Earth Garden Club says, I have a 6-foot windmill that I need to fix. Blown over in a storm. Yes, I definitely don't have a set day. It's just the time is always after 9 p.m. Central Time, any day of the week. You just gotta look for me. DCB says, those are cool looking glass chimes. Mobile Tech says, I live in Nevada. Wind chimes don't last long here. That is a concern I have at the garden away from home. Now you can dress up your containers and get one specifically for your vibe or your tone or your theme. You can also repurpose old things and just drill holes in them strategically. And then you have a container. Big wind chimes with the low tones. Yeah, there's wood ones. People sneaking in here left and right. Adam says, Bowtie Dave, my wife doesn't like them either. I have close to 10 wind chimes hanging on the... Your wife doesn't like them and you have 10? How did you get away with that? I like chimes for 3 minutes, says Jay, then make it stop. I have wind chimes to enter my house in the back, because then I can kind of hear when something knocks into them. They're not outside, they're in my kitchen. Mother Earth Garden Club likes the low tones of the bamboo chimes. DCB says, I have always wanted to get the 4-foot wind chime for my mother. Oh. Bowtie says, yeah, I think I need to look to the deep tones. They're so expensive. Yes, I know. Like hundreds of dollars for a decent size, low toned. Exactly. I'd be afraid to put it outside. You know? Is it called a globe? Garden globe? Orb? What are these things called? I've seen ones where they're like a disco ball and they make all the shiny diamond speckled rainbow things on the wherever the building is that you have by it. Adam, she's too short to take them down. Robin, we drilled holes in old wash tubs for the kitchen garden project up in Door County. Great recycled vibe. It totally is. I've done that. They had wash tubs for free and we just drilled holes in them. DCB's like, yeah, that's why I have not gotten her one yet. So fire is the theme of this image. You can have fire incorporated in your decor. So any kind of sitting around the fire area. It doesn't need to look this expensive, you know. Jay says, I sneak into neighbor's yard and gently lay down on the wind chimes until they get a hint. Lay down the wind chime. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, the glass ball thingy. They're heavy. I don't know. They have to have a little stand. I feel like it's going to start a fire. Like the reflectivity of the sun on it. It makes me nervous. Bowtie Life in the Garden. My uncle used to make perfectly tuned wind chimes. It would actually play real songs if you sat and listened to it. Well, why don't you have that? What they sound wonderful. Gandalf usually goes live on Wednesday nights, and tonight's Wednesday. Miss Sharon says, get a bowling ball at the thrift store, use mastic and tiles or pennies to cover it. Yeah, I've seen that. Wow, Radio Jonesy, welcome to the show. He says, I've missed 40 minutes of Shawnee in my life, but I'm here now. Well, good thing you can check out the replay forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Bowtie says to Adam, anyone can get a wind chime down with a shotgun. Oh, mobile tech. We were all waiting. Oh, we're talking to Gandalf. Well, you guys can settle that outside of my chat. Let's see. Oh, 35 years ago. So there isn't any options and availabilities to get the wonderful sing-song wind chimes. Okay. It is great to see Radio Jonesy here. Mobile tech. This is, what is these, a fairy garden? Fairy garden. Oh, you have the glass ball, Mobius, but it's not mirrored. A green and blue swirl that sits in a little Greek column. Got that just this year from helping neighbors clear out a house. They didn't want it, huh? This is a fairy garden setup, yeah. I mean, you can spend a lot of money on all the nicky-nacky things that go in fairy gardens. Oh, this is the chain, the rain chain. I've never heard it. Like, I don't know if it makes a sound. And I've actually never seen one until we did this research. Yeah, the tones would be kind of part of the whole thing, right, DCBs? Mobius says, and isn't it great when you find the perfect place for your new decor, right? Mother Earth Garden Club wants a fairy garden. I bet you can find all the things you need at a garage sale or build it. There's somebody, oh, what is her name? She's building this exact replica of her garden, miniature sized in her house, like a diorama. And she's English or something. I can't remember her channel name. Mobius says, I have a rain chain, but it's inside. Oh, still haven't hung it outside. It is more like a fountain. Okay. This is some kind of stone rock art happening situation. Bowtie says, it doesn't make a sound, does it? My neighbor has one. He loves the fountain sound it makes. I'm wondering if, depending on the base, like a copper or tin or glass or stone, when that rain falls off the chain into the base, I bet you that changes the sound, I'm assuming. Those are pretty cool also, says DCBs. Big Will Dog says, any chimes that are great at keeping birds away? I don't know if there's such a thing. How to make wind chimes that sound really good is a video link from Jay Dixon. Watch it in the watch later category of your life. Stay here for the show. Save it in another tab. DCB says, I have seen those water chains. Oh my goodness, this is cool. I've never seen a hummingbird feeder this cool. I bet you this costs money. Old English garden something like the English lady garden. If I could pull up my channel and search, I'd be able to find it, but I'm running my show. Radio Jonesy says, just like the Beach Boys said, round, 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 I get around. Robin Garden says, I had a rain chain, all good until there's a gusher of a rainstorm. Oh, are they not strong enough for large amounts of rain? We got an inch today and it was fantastic because the garden needed it. And I did a project at the offsite garden. So stick around in the channel and subscribe to see that video when it's live. DCB says, I think they are an Eastern adaptation. Mother Earth Garden Club, I have some parts of a fairy garden and I have plans to set up on a stump. Ooh, on a stump. That's a good setting in the front yard. Volume of water. In English Lady's Kitchen Garden. I think that's it. It's pretty cool. It's insanely cool. The things that I don't even understand how she knows how to do any of that. Mosaic Stepping Stone, says Jay. Yeah, I believe that's what it was. Yeah, the model of her garden. I don't even, it's mind-blowing. Mother Earth Garden Club. I saw someone who painted a house with a door on a tree with a path in front. Oh, it's so cute. Mobile Tech, the rain chain. This is the hummingbird feeder, or the sun. Oh, geez, DCPs. You read comments so dramatically. It's fun. Okay, so the chain is this thing. I don't know. This is called a rain chain, Mobile Tech. Like a chain of rain? I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. I don't know why it's called that. Okay, so after that we have this thing. Now there was a word for this, but I'm not following the order on the article. So I think it has the word arrow in it. I don't know. Big Will Dog says to Mobius, I need a floater activated pop up that works with the rain as it fills. I'd have a hawk or owl to scare the birds. Oh, there's the link. Jay has the link to the amazing replica garden lady that we were talking about. Robin Gardens. The chain I have can't deal with the gushers and the water goes places you don't want it to. Oh. DCB says, yeah, most people are so much more creative than I am. DCB's, dang it. I used to know what that was called. I'd have to scroll through the article. I don't know what it's called. Circle, squiggly, arrow thing. Anybody? Anybody? It's Greek? Maybe I should flip through the article and get the name. Robin Gardens says, I so want to make one of those stepping stones. I've pinned so many. I just need to do it. Well, can it be a winter project? Do you have anything to do in the winter? No way. Bowtie and Mrs. Bowtie was watching the English Lady's Kitchen Garden shorts on her model a couple hours ago. Okay, I'm going to go to this, so you look at this while I read this and see what it's called. Because there's a name in this article. I just have to keep looking. Don't forget benches and urns for your garden. Armillary. What the heck? Sphere? That's the name? Here, I'll put it in the chat. There. That's what it's called. That one that we had. That word. The thing with the arrow. And can you believe it? This is a rain barrel. I've never seen a rain barrel like this before. Gotta run, everyone. Have a great evening or day. I'll catch the rest of the live tomorrow. Thank you, Adam. Mobius says, oh yeah, you know what? 2 to 3 years ago, I hung Tibetan prayer flags along the top of one of my fences. Just so me. I love that you have your own gig there. This is pretty cool too. Have you ever seen one like this? This is a rain gauge. I have never seen a rain gauge like this. Jay says, I'm using a circle theme in my community garden. Oh, so it is calming. I love that you have like a shape theory going on. Robin Garden says, I think they are best done in place outside, so the stones can't be a winter. Oh, okay. You have to do it in place. Plus, if they are big, they would be heavy. Yeah, I guess I didn't know what size you were gonna do. Bowtie is using resources to find the names thing. Now Mobius wants the armillary sphere. Jay says circle equals wreaths, stretched doilies? I think it's doilies, hula hoops with macrame, etc. Much selfies. Yeah. Look at that rain gauge with the float in it, and then it moves the arrow. I've never seen such a thing. Sooner JH Travels John is here. Hello, good to see you. He's a big supporter of the channel. This rain gauge is super cool. It would overflow at DCB's place. You get more than 5. I wonder what my rain gauge goes up to. It's outside, obviously. I don't know. It's glass and it's connected to I think a butterfly. Mobius says to Robin Gardens, thank you. I love those flags. Sending well wishes to difficult neighbors, whether they know it or not. Yay! Look, you never. Oh, the crowns. I don't see the crowns on the StreamYard side. I only see it on the YouTube side. Of course, we have to talk about your fences. Use your fence. We talk about that with vertical gardening. We talk about it with container gardening. We talk about it with no land. You can still garden if you have a fence somewhere. Now, it's also talked about in our decor conversation. You can also use decor in the things to protect your plants. So see this triangle shaped thingy? It's to protect the baby plants. Isn't that neat? Mother Earth Garden Club says, I have a rain gauge that has a frog holding it. I think every gardener should have a rain gauge. DCB says, interesting. Yes, check out John's channel. Miss Sharon shared it for us. Thank you very much. This is talking about different types of containers, how to display them. Maybe it's your house plants that are just outside for, a season. This is decor for your garden, right? Mother Earth Garden Club says, I am painting flowers on my greenhouse. That is absolutely decor worthy of talking about. I gauge, it is raining. I live in Washington State. Yes. Let's see if I have another one. Your decor can be an outdoor sitting area, an outdoor kitchen, a pergola, a gazebo, a arbor, baskets, all the things. Tammy Harder says, hi, all listening in. Thank you for listening. Rainforest, says DCBs. We have this balance of symmetry as well as color and trellising. Multiple things going on in the decor world. DCB says that is a nice looking porch. So this is another example, even with the path, the stone path. Do you feel like it's laid to direct you towards the gate? Big Will Dog would like those baskets for bird catching equipment. They do look like Tweety bird rigs, don't they? Bowtie says, I found that cool rain gauge in a foreign language. Well, did you check Etsy? Or did you check the link? Maybe the article that has that in it in my description has a link to buy it. Let's see. Mother Earth Garden Club, we had over an inch of rain yesterday and during the night. Yeah, ours was 1 inch. Here at my house, I didn't actually check the rain gauge at the garden because we get different amounts of rain there. I was just so excited to do my project. Mobius says, I redid a lot of furniture last year. Let me see if I have another picture. There. Okay. Including a pergola, then planted the honeysuckle vines on each side and a table next to it. Vines doing great. I love that. Sounds good, Gandalf. Jeffersonian rain gauge is what it's called. Oh, everyone's going to have one now. This is a decor conversation about containers, having different style of containers. Also, look at the colors of the containers, the colors of the plants. Was this planned? Don't forget that you can use any container as long as it has proper drainage holes. If you have the right bit and the right drill, you can have anything, right? So this is using like household stuff in the garden. Whatever this thing is called. Do we call this a lantern? I'm sorry that I don't know. Robin Gardens, those lights can have battery lights in them and be used where there is no power. You can use thrifted cheap hanging lamps that way. Yeah, I love the adding two things together to make one, right? We are low on rain this year, says DCBs. Yeah, I think I saw you in the drought map, that area. Jay Dixon says, question, any tips on how to make a presentable sign for the garden? Cheapest preferred. Funny dance walk zone. Well, do you want it to be on a rock? Let me pull this down. Do you want it to be, like this instead of flat? Like a rock, obviously, you could paint on with words and such. But I'm guessing you want it like staked in a flat surface so it's readable. So I don't have the like super creativity molecules up here. And so when I'm like looking for inspiration, obviously there's Pinterest and then Etsy. I'll see what other creators have made. and either buy that thing or try to do it myself. But then I can get the ideas of how it could look, right? Um, there's, at first I was like, well, you could do a chalkboard, but it rains in the garden and you water in the garden. And so the second the thing gets wet, whatever you wrote on it changes. So if you wanted it to change all the time, then I'd say chalkboard it up. I'm guessing you want a permanent funny dance walk zone sign. Mobius says, I put an arbor in this year at a gate and planted Concord grapes, and they're grabbing it. Can't wait. Ooh, I love that. Arbor arch. Your video has a description. Are you being funny? Mother Earth Garden Club says, of course I watered my garden yesterday. Oh, if I hadn't done that, it wouldn't have rained. You're on that schedule. Chandelier, DCB says, lantern dahlier? We're throwing out names for that thing I showed. Big Will Dog says, my neighbors have a pergola and its rafters are filled with bird nests. I'd never eat under that thing unless I wanted bird drop soup. That is a risk or a con I now know about the pergola. John says they used to make glass balls for fishing floats in Japan. So if you found them on the beach, it was pretty cool. All sizes. That is cool. Bowtie says, I put an old bed frame in my outer garden beds. Mobius is talking to Big Will Dog that it's a small pergola with a seat. Birds will summarily dismissed if they dare. Ohio Valley Prepping. Good evening, all. Welcome to our conversation about garden decor ideas. Catch the replay for all the reasons we need to know about decor, all the ways to do it, the color theory, and the images. You've missed all of that, but you haven't missed the bonus checklist or the video yet. So if that interests you, stick around. DCB says, yep, drier spring, dry summer and fall. Not going to be good for the fire season in the Northwest this year. Jay says, sign on fence for community garden so people will walk, dance silly on the path. You're going to put it on a fence. Graffiti art. Are you into that? Do you want to spray paint? My husband does graffiti in fancy letters and such. He's also the more artistic person in the group. Mobius says, find someone with a 3D printer. Mother Earth Garden Club says, I like lots of colors, so my raised beds and green stalks are all different colors. Thank you. I said earlier when we were talking about themes, I cannot stick to a theme. Are you kidding me? Miss Sharon says, use car window markers. I don't know what the base of those is. Bochai says, obviously, I wasn't being very funny. No one laughed. Ha. Jay is asking Miss Sharon, what are the surfaces for the car window markers? Yeah, I doubt it's wood friendly. It sounds like glass or metal only. John says, I might like a bamboo wind chime as opposed to my huge metal one. We were talking earlier, I don't know if you were here yet, for the tone of a wind chime, the wood or long, like bigger it is, the deeper the tone is much more pleasant than the tingy, high-pitched metal screeching kind, right? Mobius is reminding everyone to hit the like button. Thank you. There is a picture of Jay's garden sign in the posts tab on Bowtie Life in the Garden's YouTube channel. Mother Earth Garden Clubs. I saw a wheelbarrow full of flowers, wildflowers. Oh, we see old like vintage tractor frames in gardens and then wash the thing you scrub your clothes on. I want to say grate. That's not the word. Wash. I don't remember. Gandalf, my garden theme is please grow. Yeah, Miss Sharon says to Jay, only glass or metal for that. Big Will Dog says, can you use invisible fences to protect decor from rambunctious dogs? My husky would see decor as a destruction room. You'll have to just stick with heavy stone or iron for your decor, Big Will Dog. The drama on your voice, says Bowtie. Washboard. Thank you, Miss Sharon. Mobius says, speaking of angels, my avatar is... Oh, hey, look at that. The winged victory of Samothrace in the Louvre. Louvre? I don't know. Scrubboard, yes. Robin Garden says, interestingly, I have a lot of cobalt blue pots and painted my bench and bistro set cobalt. People think it's my favorite color. Not, I think. But I think it makes the greenery pop in the garden. That is an interesting observation that you have a theme and it's not even your favorite color. Let's go back to the wheel. There's a wheel here. We showed this earlier to talk about things that complement each other, things that are next to each other. Blue and green is next to each other. We also talked about keeping warm colors together, keeping cool colors together, and then mixing things up like purple, yellow, green, and red. There's words for these, but do I remember? No. Watch the replay. Oh, Zombie Prepper. Welcome to the conversation. We are about ready to watch a video talking about garden decor. Mother Earth Garden Club says cobalt blue is so pretty. Mobius also says cobalt blue is gorgeous. I'm not that bold, but with fuchsia behind it to die for. Oh, Louvre. Louvre, says Jay for that word earlier. Bowtie says, I have seen the Samothrace angel at the Louvre. Oh, come on, Shawnee, you can say it. Oh, that's a cool one. Reminds me of a sundial. We had a sundial in the show, and we all want one now, too. Big Will Dog says, blue is my color, and not because I'm an airman. Radio Jonesy says, yes, you need to get into reading audiobooks for a living. Why did you spell my name like that? Are you talking through voice? Okay, there, it says it at the end. You've got a knack. You've got a knack. Sorry about any spelling mistakes. This is a voice to text. Thank you for apologizing, because I'm offended, Radio Jonesy. Jay says to Mobius, I am like a magpie for cobalt blue. Must have. Pest Hunter Outdoors, welcome to our live stream about garden decor. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and check out the poll while you're here. Just stopping by to say hi. I appreciate it. That counts. Thank you. Bowtie says, oh, even better, sign for your garden on my post. I just put it in. I just put it up. Updated. Radio Jonesy says, you know, I love you, Shawnee. Hey, how does the spell your name correctly when I say it the same way again? I don't know. Maybe it heard me chewing its butt out about it. Robin Garden says, I did choose the light green for the new birdies beds we put in. Sort of matches the green accent in the stone beds. As far as flowers, anything goes. Rainbow, right? Oh, I have a rainbow lei. Just to talk about color today. Not that that's in your garden, but you know, I don't have a whole lot of decor. And if I do, it's not here. It's in the garden and I can't fit it on the shelves. So thanks to Mark for providing me with this entire shelf. Well, minus my crystal. And the mushroom down here. That was all him. Thank you, Gandalf, for telling me that fun fact. Okay, so this is a video called 10 Simple Ideas for Cluttered Corners and Neglected Garden Spaces. I think it fits our conversation, so you will watch it. Okay? Okay. Loading it up. This button. How do I get me out of here? Does anybody remember? This one? Nope. This one? I feel like there's more options. Oh, they hid it under another tab. Okay. Pest Hunter Outdoors. I would like to flowers mixed with the garden vegetables. Absolutely. Love that. All right, here we go.
We've all got some of those cluttered areas where nothing seems to grow, which doesn't seem to work, or where we want to change how we're using the garden. It's Alexandra here from the Middle-Sized Garden YouTube channel and blog, and this is the second of 2 videos, and the first one dealt with how you design and revamp the area of the garden closest to the house, because that's what you see when you look out of the window or walk outside. But all around gardens, if they're of any size at all, and even if they're quite small, you find that corners just gather clutter, and we've revamped several of our corners over the last few years. So I'll cover those ideas that we've used, plus ideas I've seen in other gardens and at the shows. Now, we've got something we call the difficult shady corner, and there's a video about that, which I'll put in the description below, because after a pergola was rotted and taken away, I looked at 10 different options for it, which included things like a shed, a sculpture, seating, a pond, a wildlife area, and so on. But in the end, what we decided was seating. And I'm so glad that we did, because actually what seating does, even in any size of a garden, putting a seat in a different part of it gives you a different view of your garden. So I really enjoy sitting in this corner and just seeing how different the garden looks and feels. The other thing that seating does is that it creates a destination in your garden. Suddenly, somewhere that wasn't really anywhere is a place where you go with a cup of coffee or a drink. And in the practical part of our garden, where the sheds are, there was a great pile of clutter, and I just simply couldn't get around to ever tidying it up. But eventually I tidied it up, and I added a table and 2 chairs. And it just has made it somewhere to go, and it looks so much better. And there's no need to necessarily buy anything new, because the other idea, I would say, is that you can actually achieve quite a lot of revamping simply by moving things around the garden. The table over in this corner actually was on our terrace, and the chairs are 2 of the chairs from a set of 8, which is in another corner of the garden. And in the middle of our parterre, we had a topiary spiral. Now, we moved that into what we call the difficult shady corner, and actually topiary is a very good thing to give structure to a shady corner, because quite a lot of topiary does quite well in the shade, things like box, home oak, holly and privet. And then we had a sundial in the middle of that part of the garden for a bit. But when we had the pergola put in, I then thought, well, what am I going to do with the sundial? And then, of course, I thought that one way of making a practical area feel like a proper garden area of its own is to give it a focal point. So I moved the sundial to the centre of the veg beds. There was some landscaping involved in that, because we had to cut the edge off the corner of each of the 4 beds to give us enough room to actually walk around the sundial. But I'm very pleased now. I feel that instead of having veg beds, I've got a potager, or perhaps I could grow it as a cut flower garden, a cottage garden, or indeed last year what I did with it, and this is another thing you can do if you've got a bare patch, is I left it completely wild. Now, rewilding is obviously a hot topic at the moment, and Isabella Tree, who's one of the pioneers of rewilding, says in her book, The Book of Wilding, that actually it's not about just letting your garden go, because if you just stop doing something, then the most invasive plants will take over, and you'll actually have a reduction in biodiversity rather than an increase. So we all live in managed spaces, and even a rewilded garden will be a managed garden. However, just for 3 months last summer, I did absolutely nothing in these beds. And I kept thinking, oh, we must get around to doing something. I must plant some veg, etc. In fact, I turned around in June and suddenly the beds were full of poppies and feverfew and cerinthe, and it was really pretty. So it worked very well for me. But there is one word of warning, and that is that actually bare earth does attract weeds. And sometimes they're beautiful weeds like poppies. But if they're weeds you don't want to attract, then the other thing you can do with a patch of bare earth while you're trying to decide what its ultimate future is to add a green manure. Green manure are plants that you grow from seed. They improve the structure of your soil, and when they break down, they add fertility and nutrients back into the soil. I was sent a couple of packets of green manure by Thompson and Morgan, and so I scattered them across 2 of the beds and then raked them over. It only took about 10 minutes, and now those beds are covered in something lovely and green, and it's no longer so inviting to any passing weed. When I'm ready to replant the beds, I will cut down the green manure and either leave them on the top to rot down or dig them in, and both ways will restore nutrition to the earth. One of the other things you can do to make an area that's practical feel a bit more special is actually to put something unexpectedly grand or gorgeous in it. For example, a chandelier in a greenhouse or a particularly nice bench in a shed. And if you've got a bare and boring part of the garden, then what about a garden ornament or sculpture? Of course, sculpture can cost quite a lot, but actually you can often make it up yourself. In this garden, the owner had several pieces of corten steel cut and arranged to look like sculpture. And it's really transformed this bare bit of hedge. And at Doddington Place Gardens, this twisted metal sculpture actually was a part of the fence, and a vehicle crashed into it. And instead of disposing of the twisted metal, they painted it red, and then they used it to create a focal point in a bare piece of open ground. And of course, that brings me to a pot of paint can work wonders. If you've got a clutter of sheds, log stores, bin stores, whatever, in a corner somewhere, then actually if you paint it all the same colour, it will just look so much neater and tidier. In this wide, shallow garden, designed by Posy Gentles, she loses the shed simply by painting it the same dark colour as the fence. And of course, because it's a wide, shallow garden, the fence and the shed are actually quite close to you when you look out the window. So it's worked beautifully to lose it. And we've used the same trick with our log store, bins and back gate. Just by painting them all the same colour, they look so much better. That paint's about 8 years old now, so it is looking a bit shabby. One of the most difficult parts of a garden to plant up is a sloping area, and you might just have a couple of feet of slope. And there are two things you could actually do with a slope which would make it just seem a bit different and a bit more interesting. And one is, if it's a sunny slope, put a rock garden there. And I've got a video about how to do rock gardens, which I'll put in the description below. The other thing you can do if it's a shady slope is kind of somehow go for a woodland garden feel and make it a stumpery. A stumpery is when you get bits of cut log or old tree stumps or even interesting stumps from shrubs, and then you arrange them. It's very good for wildlife. The wood will slowly rot down, but whether you're doing a rockery or a stumpery, what it does with a slope is it creates little pockets of planting. So you put the rocks in or the stumps in, and then you can plant plants behind them, and they're not so likely to get washed away if it rains. So if you're revamping various corners of your garden, then don't forget the area just outside the house, because that is the area you'll see the most. And so do check out this video.
All right. That was the video. I saw Mother Earth Garden Club say, I think she's talking about cover crop. And Bowtie Life in the Garden says, oh wow, that archway church window is amazing. Yes, yes indeed. Jay Dixon says, I use white paint to unify / clean up scrap wood and metal for my featured community garden plot. Gandalf is taken off. I'll see you around, Gandalf. Later. Mobius says, actually, I have several pieces of driftwood from our large nearby lake a friend brought over. Very lovely to the eye. Breaks up the length of the garden area. Love that. Robin Garden says, up in Wisconsin, I've been saving interesting washed up wood pieces to do something with. Think they are so cool. It is totally worth saving. I love that. The poll. What's your favorite type of garden decor? We are ending the poll. And I'm going to place the answer in the chat so I can share it. To see the winner, okay, upcycled and repurposed treasures 41%, bird baths, wind chimes, fountains 29%, do-it-yourself or handmade items 16%, colorful pots and painted art 12%. I know we had a one vote for all of the above. Let's have it all. Let's cram it in. So there's the poll. Then we're going to talk about the checklist. Pest Hunter Outdoors, those archways gave me a great idea to keep the heat off my beehives in the summertime. Ooh, growing shade. Yes, love that. Okay. Moving along, we did that, we did that. Okay, balanced garden decor checklist. Let's do a summary of what we've learned together. Number 1, choose a style or theme. Rustic, cottagecore, whimsical, zen, modern, eclectic, etc. You can pick 2 to 3 descriptive words. Natural, cozy, colorful, put them all together. Now we have a theme, right? Number 2, plan a color palette. Use complementary or the I don't know how to say that word. We learned about this earlier when we talked about color theory, those colors. Match or contrast with your plants and structures. Repeat colors for flow. Painted pots, cushions, flowers, right? Number 3, mix heights and layers. Tall, trellis, arbor, birdhouse, sculpture. Medium, planters, benches, lanterns. Low, ground art, stepping stones, creeping plants. I feel like you could do the low lights for that too. So having a mix of each of the checklist points to make decor everywhere. Number 4, add a focal point. Choose one eye-catching item. A bench, a sculpture, a fountain, bold paint. Place it at the end of a path, in the center of a bed, or near an entrance. All about the eye, right? Number 5, use texture and materials. Combine wood, metal, stone, ceramic, fabric. Contrast smooth versus rough, shiny versus matte for interest. You can do texture differences just in your flower plantings. Number 6, repeat and balance. Repeat similar colors or materials to tie areas together. Balance decor so no one sees, so no one side feels too heavy. So when we did that first, like I think it was the 8 elements tour, we definitely saw the balance and repeat of things in those examples, right? Number 7, keep function in mind. Is it weatherproof or seasonal? Can it serve a purpose? Is it a trellis? Is it for seating? Is it a bird bath? Is it lighting? We all talked about how we use lighting. Number 8, include personal touches. This is your space. Add handmade, upcycled, or meaningful items. Let your personality and story shine through your space. Don't forget that coming soon, I think our next show, if it's not just a chill and chat, it could be about garden surprises. Whatever you think that might be. Heading back into the chat. Mobius says, probably cottage and eclectic. Oh, bow tie. Pest Hunter Outdoors says, I was thinking about either jasmine or honeysuckle to climb along that trellis that you're speaking of over your beehives. Jay Dixon says it's analogous. That color theory. Mobius says, tell ya, the tall is so amazing, I was medium forever. Mother Earth Garden Club says, I like pretty colors and yummy food. Yeah, I think you can get decory even just with the plantings, like growing purple peas or yellow or purple beans, right? Something to contrast against the green. Pest Hunter Outdoors says something that'll bloom all summer long. I like where you're going with that. Mobius says these are excellent points, all great checklist. Robin Garden says, laugh out loud. I start the season with a planting theme. Then I hit garden centers and fall in love with something off the theme. And then it all goes to heck in a handbasket. Wham! Bochai says, speaking of color, those colors in the bricks of my raised beds is the same colors Mrs. Bowtie and have used for decor for over 40 years. They are in the back, front, inside, everywhere. Miss Sharon says, remember to hit the thumbs up. Big Wheel Dog says, where's the line between an inconvenient plant like dandelion and permanent problem like morning glory? Where would comfrey fit once established? Well, comfrey has a huge job and is super beneficial as a bioaccumulator, and I want all of it everywhere, all the time. Dandelion I tolerate in most places, but the morning glory has got to go. Mobius says, tall archways over gates with vines suits my romantic side. We have a podcast. Have I done a podcast? Nope, because it's garden season. I feel like it's a winter thing. Perhaps I shall record one. Correction, 20 years. Bowtie for Shawnee Q. What did the flamboyant gnome say when asked why he painted the rain barrel chartreuse? Answer: because vermilion is so passé, and my aesthetic is firmly rooted in defenestrated whimsy. Nice try. The Bocking 14 is what I planted. So the seeds are sterile. The only thing that can make it spread is the root or a cutting. So that's a good point, Robin, because Big Will Dog was probably talking about that one that when the seeds fall, it actually makes a plant. Jay says, I'm considering moving my 3 angels to a community garden plot to provide photo ops for passerbys. I think people will tell you stories about angels in the garden if you do that. So if you don't want that, don't do it. But if you do want that, then you should do it. Oh, I'm sorry. I tried. Mother Earth Garden Club, I tried to grow comfrey, but it didn't come back the next spring. Wah, wah. It's a bummer. I would try again, to be honest. I planted mine in the spring, I believe, last year, and it came back this year very well, very much so. I'm going to either divide it in the fall if I can get to it, or I'm going to divide it in the spring to have more comfrey. Okay. Why did the sundial refuse to work in Bowtie's backyard? It developed a crippling case of chronodysphoria after realizing the garden gnomes were using anti-massacres as hats. Big Will Doug says, Robin Gardens, I was just wondering more in the sense that once it's there, it's there. I believe the kind sent to me is infertile. Well, but it's such a good thing. There's so many things to use the comfrey for. It's not even like, who cares if it's there? Oh no, Jay also said that comfrey was a single season. Oh, you'll have to put it in a container and bring it in, I guess. Bummer. Mobius says Bowtie made those words up. Mother Earth Garden Club says, where did you get the comfrey plants? Farm on Central. Did I say it? I don't want to play this game anymore, Bowtie. I will only read them for super chats when I have access to that. Let's see here. Gonna try and get a link. They're sold out right now. I'm almost positive. But I can share the link. Man, I almost forgot how to share something. This is the link for the comfrey. Mother Earth Garden Club. Yeah, clearly he's playing a fun game, Jay. Bowtie says, comfrey, at the end of the season, harvest roots and put in pots indoors. By spring, they will have sprouted. What is Big Will Dog saying? I'm just worried one day my wife might decide she doesn't want it where I placed it. Well, you just tell her. She can get the shovel and dig its giant taproot out if she wants it moved. Radio Jonesy, bad time for me to be. This voice to text is absolutely garbage, but ingoing. That's what I originally said the first time. It's terrible. 1, 2, 3 on a Thursday, and I'm at work, and it's just after lunch standing. Is the time 1:23 on a Thursday? And you're working, making money. Hope your lunch is great. Bring up the good vibes for you. Oh, in the rain, and have you in the pocket, so I can't read chat, but you're sounding wonderful. Well, thank you. They're making me say hard words, Radio Jonesy. Yeah, Robin, good sentence. Robin Gardens says to Big Will Dog in the soil, don't let analysis paralysis stop you from the comfrey. Miss Sharon also has a link to source for comfrey root, Kentucky Sustainable Living website. Comfrey, says Bowtie, you can stuff a lot of roots in a single pot. You can separate them out when planting them back out. At least that is what I understand for North Pole climates. Big Will Dog says, easier said than done, Shawnee Girls. I've almost been too worried to close my eyes with that mindset. Well, put it in a container, I guess, then. Big Will can move a container. Yeah, Mobius is like, my comfrey, 5 feet tall. Wow. Yeah, when I chomp and dropped mine, it came back. And it got big, just like it was. It's the coolest thing ever. Pest Hunter Outdoors, time to get going. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Bowtie says, comfrey, you may never get blooms like that. But I don't know about that. Mother Earth Garden Club says, Miss Sharon, will that comfrey grow in Zone 5A? Well, my comfrey grows in Zone 5A, but I don't know. It's already in the ground, and I've used it for compost already. Compost tea. Big Will Dog. Well, it's in the ground. You can't do nothing about it. Why are we having this conversation? Bowtie says, yeah, my comfrey was huge this year. And there was nice purple blooms on mine, says Big Will Dog. Yeah, mine is year 2, and it had the blooms finally. And that was what I found that first bumblebee on, was the comfrey. Robin says, but comfrey in a pot won't mine the nutrients deep from the earth. Ooh, true. Its job is to have the deep root and bring up every good nutrient to the surface, into the leaves, for you to chop and drop. Yeah, it is the Bocking 14 that Miss Sharon sent in the link. Mobius says my comfrey 5B is perfect. Bowtie says to Big Will Dog, put an upside down pot over it in the winter. I don't think his was dying. I think he's just nervous about things that haven't happened yet with his wife. No, not in tea, in your cold and hot compost. Well, brew a tea with it, Big Will Dog. What are you waiting for? Worm bins? Okay, that's acceptable. We'll take that. And then Miss Sharon is reminding everyone to find their grow zone and more at the Farmer's Almanac here. There's the link. So thank you so much for joining me in this creative journey through garden decor. Whether you're adding a pop of color, repurposing something with love, or designing a peaceful retreat, remember your garden is a reflection of you. Bowtie says, Shawnee, don't rush Big Will Dog in the soil. He's just getting the basics of compost. Miss Sharon says, thank you all for joining us in the chat. Every stone, sparkle, and sunflower has a story. So get creative, repurpose with purpose. And as always, grow every day in every way. I will see you all around next time. Thank you.